Obviously, the Detroit Lions are the one that people are starting to become, in my opinion, a little bit more polarized on. They have no concerns and no problems and no worries about saying NFC North, sure. But when you get to NFC, Flannel will tell you, you hear some tone as it relates to their inability to match up with the Eagles, the Commanders, and even potentially the Vikings in their own division. And then when you look at what they say are like the biggest threats to the Super Bowl, the Lions aren't coming up in these conversations, right? Talk to me about. I see you because I think that this is a mistake. We know what this Lions team is, man.
No, and I warned people about this when they went to the NFC Championship, that when you go into the following season with a Super Bowl or bust mentality, you set yourself up for disappointment and failure. Like, there are two teams that make the Super Bowl. There's one that wins it. If you don't make it to the Super Bowl, it's okay. The point for the Lions is they're a consistent playoff team that you can talk about. They're going to contend for the division every year. That's the win. Don't feel like if they don't make the Super Bowl, this is all just a big failure. And as a fan base, we've got to feel the same way. For the Pistons, it's not NBA championship or bust next year. Really, it's just get back to the playoffs. Prove this year wasn't a fluke. Set yourself in a direction to start doing stuff. And with the Lions, it is very much the same thing. Hey, just win your division. Put yourself in a position. Get the number one seed in the NFC. Like, that's a big deal. They didn't follow through and win everything, but people have to get in the habit of understanding that sports isn't just about you win or it's a failure. It's you have a team to root for. You could have all of your April and the D teams, and then when you get to the fall, you're not falling asleep because the Lions aren't going to be good and Michigan State aren't going to be good. We have a year-round fan base in Detroit and Michigan where we can root for teams all over the place, and the worst one is probably the Red Wings. And if they're on the edge of making the playoffs, I think Detroit is doing pretty good.
Hey, everybody's percolating right now, Flannel Sam.
Everybody's percolating. Red Wings percolating is saying that loosely, but that's neither here nor there.
Almost percolating.
They're going to get the least amount of attention on today's show. But Rod,
I saw one bubble.
To piggyback off of that, you said that you're not as bullish on every single year being Lions Super Bowl or bust. However, do you, Rod Beard, believe that in the Holmes-Campbell era, in this Detroit Lions era, that they will come away with at least one Super Bowl victory?
Victory?
Yes.
Sure. Why not?
Oof.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, you've got to get there first. And that's just getting over that hump of getting to a Super Bowl will be a win in itself. But to win a Super Bowl, I mean, it's one team that can do it every year. We're in the Eagles and Chiefs sort of era where they're dominating. Does that mean that the Ravens are a failure if they don't win a Super Bowl? Just from a fan perspective, I look at things a lot different. That this is the Lions' window to actually win it if they're going to, and this is the best chance in our lifetimes that it's happened. But if it doesn't, should people be disappointed? I don't think so. And again, I'm just different about my fandom and how I look at success in a sports town. The fact that you're there, that fans are engaged and interested, and it's not just out of habit, but it's because you have a good team, I think that's the success we should be talking about.
Yo, I absolutely love to hear that because we were just talking about this. A lot of fans, I believe, are so zoomed in, they're unable to even enjoy what's going on right now. They're literally criticizing young stars, Rod, when we just a decade and a half ago would champion Jason Maxiell, bro. Like, I'm just like, what are we doing
Jason
right
Maxiell,
now? Like,
wow.
we're the Dynamite. Like, well, guys, like Don Kelly exists, and we put him in our Role Player Hall of Fame. But now you see certain criticisms of players like Riley Green, Cade Cunningham, even Aiden Hutchinson. Before he got off to that hot streak, and I do believe that it's important what you just said to take a step back and actually realize. I don't remember the last time we've had a time like this. The Red Wings are right on the cusp. I don't ever remember a time like this. Have we had some good runs? Maybe a couple teams, yeah, but when you talk about with the Lions also being a Super Bowl contender, Rod, I don't know that there's never been a time like this for me. Let me just stamp that in my life, man, for Detroit sports. I do believe that there is something to enjoying it, going out with friends, slapping hands with strangers, and realizing that at the very least, the Lions have rewritten their history. in the NFC North, in the NFL, and I do believe that going forward, they're in a much better trajectory than any time, obviously, in their history of this franchise. And unless you want to go back to the championship years.
I mean, and let's not be so short-sighted on this. Was it 5 years ago? Okay, let's do 5 years ago. None of them were in the playoffs. None. And the Tigers were abysmal. And we were talking about, let's wait till we get to the point where all of these young pitching stars, when Skubal gets here and Mize gets here and Manning gets here, just wait till then. We're here. We're in that now, right now. And when Cade gets good, when he comes off of his injury, those are the things that we were talking about would be the heyday, and now we're there. So let's not just be entitled fans and say it has to be the Super Bowl or this team has failed. That just really gets at me when fans kind of take that tack on stuff.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, and one more question before we move on to the Pistons, and this is a Lions one. So PFF came up with, Pro Football Focus came up with a list of the top 25 players in the NFL under the age of 25. And the Detroit Lions had by far the most representation. They had 5 players.
Yep.
The rest of the NFC North combined had 0. What are your thoughts on that?
That's the window that we're talking about is a lot of the Lions' top players are going to get to their prime. We're going to see Jahmyr Gibbs for years to come being one of the prototypical backs in the league in terms of his ability. And, I mean, part of that, the litmus test there, is where he's going to go in fantasy drafts. Is he a top 5 player? Probably. Top 10, definitely. So people see the versatility. They see the value that he's going to have on this offense. And the young players here are going to sustain this and make this a team that's going to have opportunities to win the division, win the NFC, get to the Super Bowl. That's the fun in this. That's the success in all of it.